All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the 2315 Sports Show. We're on episode 9. Going to be another short one today. Not really much happening. We're going to recap the NBA Allstar Weekend, and MLB Spring Training is here. So that is why you see us. One, got the Cubs jersey. You can't really see it in the camera. My buddy here has got the Red Sox.
Yes, sir.
So we thought we'd bring them out for this one, and we're probably going to wear them sometime around opening day as well. So exciting time of year. So why don't we just dive right in? We do actually have a surprise for you guys at the end with a little ranking of the MLB logo. So that should be fun to see. So why don't we dive right in? What do we got on the news segment this week, Big E?
All right. Well, we got just a few small things going on, but so for NFL news, we've got the Dolphins today. They released Emmanuel Ogba to save some money on the cap, and then they're also planning to release Xavier Howard. So two defensive players that mean a lot to that defense, but they are going to. Sorry about that.
All good.
But
All good.
two defensive players that they are going to have to let go of so that they can continue to build, and add more pieces. And but just move on there. Sticking with the NFL, we got Mike Evans. I know he's a big name that's been moved around. And is he going to be a free agent? Is he going back to the Bucks? They didn't reach an extension, so he is going to hit free agency, and we'll see where he goes. I'd love to see him go to the Patriots, but I've also seen a couple of things like the Bears could be interested, or the Chiefs. Don't love that one, but
Yeah.
it'd be good for his career, good for Patrick Mahomes' career. But hope we don't see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, switching up to the NBA, we've got the Nets. They fired Kevin Ollie, or fired Jock Vaughn and promoted Kevin Ollie to the head coach. Just quick little thing there. So college basketball, we've only got 5-6 games left, in the regular season, and then we're going to conference tournaments and March Madness. So that would be it's good to see whenever. I love March Madness, and I love the conference tournaments. And then we got Caitlin Clark, the GOAT. Is she the GOAT? What do you think about that?
Yes. Like, probably the greatest, I would assume the greatest women's college basketball player ever. Definitely the best shooter ever. I'll go on a limb and say both men and women shooter in college for sure.
Yeah.
She's really good, but she has a good game too. I mean, she's not just a shooter. I mean, she has a polished game. I'm pretty excited, and she can come back next year. So I would assume she will make more money coming back to Iowa than in the WNBA right off the bat. I mean, right away. So I wouldn't be surprised if she came back. And I don't know. She's going after Maravich's record, so that'll be interesting. She's a heck of a talent. I'll say that for sure. She can ball.
Yeah, she really can, and she's a really good player. Which the other night when she broke their record, she had like 41 points, but also had like 14 assists or something like that. So, like, she's a good all around player. She's solid defensively. So, I don't see. I think she could transition to the WNBA and be, one of the best players almost immediately. But I think I kind of agree with you where I think she may end up coming back.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, I don't see why not, because like you said, the money, like you're going to make way more money. You're close to home. You got all the exposure you want right there. You go to the WNBA and no one truly cares about the WNBA as much.
Right.
So,
yep.
But yeah, so we're just going to keep it moving. Good news for us. they keep adding more stuff for college football 25.
Mm-hmm.
And they announced that all the FCS schools or FBS schools were going to be in the game and that they could opt in. The players could for $600 and a copy of the game. I think they could have given them a little more, but
Yeah,
it is what it is.
I do too. I think the money value's not there, but I think it's pretty cool for them to say like that you're actually in the video game now. Like before, I mean, you can create yourself obviously, but like you're going to be in the game and not just number 15 for UK. Like you're going to be the guy. So, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. I mean, I think I bet they could go a little higher. However, I think it's a good starting point. It gets the players, a monetized value to it, and you get a free copy of the game. And then I think I heard something like it's not just going to be football. Like EA has a lot of ambassadors sports wide that it could bring in for that too. So maybe a hint at more sports coming in the NCAA franchise, which would be awesome. But I mean, it's a good start. I don't mind it. Again, I would have probably said maybe bump it to 1,000 a player, and
a little extra incentive.
Yeah, but to me, if you don't opt in, I think you're an idiot. Like, I mean, it's free money, free game, free copy, and it's free exposure. Like,
that's the coolest thing. Like, I'd do it for free. Be like, hell, I'm in a video game.
Yeah,
pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
I agree.
But yeah, and speaking, of college sports, we've got. I just seen broke news that like the NIL, the courts, blocked it where they couldn't limit that for like recruitment or whatever. So there's pretty much not a lot of rules or restrictions with it right now. So I think that's good for players. So not as good for universities, but for players, I think that's good news for them because like, hey, you just pay me and I'll be there.
Yep.
So, but and then I seen for college football, they a couple of days ago they finally like kind of broke down how the new college playoff format's going to go with 12. So it was going to be the top 5, the Power 5 conferences were going to get the automatic bid, but now with the new realignment, Pac-12 like doesn't classify as or may not classify as a Power 5 conference anymore.
Okay.
So if that doesn't happen, it'll be the 4 and 8 like wild card bids, I guess.
Okay.
So, at large. So I think it's cool. I'm excited for the 12 team playoff. I think that'll be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It'll solve a lot of problems for people, I think. So
it'll be good. It'll be good for sure. And last but not least, spring training has started. All teams have reported basically, and so it's go time. So a couple of baseball quick things. Tim Anderson left the White Sox and signed with the Marlins today, or yesterday. So it's a pretty good move. He didn't 1 year, $5 million, so it could be a good move for him. The Marlins, they've got a really good team this year, so
yeah,
I look for them to probably win their division.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm surprised. And the Cubs are kind of frustrating. It'll be a little later on, but I think I would have, as the Cubs, signed in an Anderson for that and kept him in Chicago. Like he would have done that. He would have stayed.
Yeah.
And just went across town to the Cubs. And I mean, we got spots for him, but especially for that money, I mean, that's nothing.
Yeah, even if he wasn't an everyday shortstop for them, move him around a little bit, or let him come off the bench a little bit, play every other day or whatever. I mean, still, it'd have been cool to stay there. But we'll see how it does in Florida. I think it'll do just fine. So
yeah, I do too. That's a good matchup too with Jazz Chisholm. He's kind of a flashy player too.
Yes.
So
that'd be a fun combo right there to see.
And I think Jazz Chisholm, I think last year played center. I would almost move him back to second. That way you'd have Anderson at short or at third. I don't know. Their shortstop I think is pretty good actually now. But I don't know. Miami's an interesting team.
Yeah.
They're an interesting team for sure. So
yeah, it'll be good to see how they end up.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and so I just got one more thing for the news, and that's I seen where the other day Bryce Harper is moving to first base permanently, and some kind of speculation about how that came about. He says that they brought it up to him, but what I've also read is that he wanted to be the full-time DH, and they were like, well, we already have somebody to play here who is the DH full time. So you're going to move to first base, like kind of or else. I gave him the ultimatum, and he was like, "Cool, I'll take that." So I think to the media he may have spun a little bit, but he's my favorite player. I'm excited to see him stay healthy for a full year, maybe get back to the MVP for him.
Yeah. I see that. I think the reason they're not putting him at DH full time is because Kyle Schwarber's there, and he should be their DH because he's decent in the field, but they could get a little better fielding if he stayed at DH. So
and I think the other guys like
Castellanos
or Castellanos. Yep, that's it.
Yep.
So he's there. I know they had mentioned him as the DH as well. So you can't really have three rotational guys for your DH. That just doesn't work.
High paid three guys at that.
Yes.
So, no way. So, I like him at first. He did very well last year at first.
Yep.
So, I say that's good. It's a decent news segment. We got a little movement around all the sports. The only thing I would have added is, and I totally blanked last week, which was really dumb because my wife watches it, but the Daytona 500. So NASCAR season started last week.
Yes.
Ended up getting canceled, moved to Monday, which probably pissed a lot of people off.
Yeah.
But NASCAR season, we'll touch base a little bit on that probably throughout the year. It's neither one of our strong suits. We might have to bring her in on the show for sure.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's just another left turn, and that's really all it is.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to talk with we'll have to get the financial group in that one, see if we can even get her in here.
Yeah, we may not be able to afford her. So, so moving a little ahead. So we talked last week of NBA Allstar Weekend, and I don't know if you watched any all. However, we watched all of it. We actually watched the game too, a little bit of it, like 3/4 of it. I'm gonna say the skills challenge was good. It actually let me down a little bit as far as I'm pretty sure both of us have been out of basketball for years, and I'm pretty sure both of us could have passed in that through those big rings that they had.
Yes.
Probably blindfolded, honestly. So I was a little bummed at that. I'm a little surprised that Indiana won, but then again, I'm not. Home team. They also had really good talent on their team as well. The 3-point was surprising. It just didn't. I don't know. It didn't hold my attention very well again. Until the end, obviously. With Cat and Dame like missing the whole rack and then hitting the last shot. That's typical Dame time. Pretty clutch. And then the Steph and Sabrina thing was probably the most exciting thing of the weekend. I really enjoyed it. I really thought she was going to win because she came out balling. She came out
blazing,
great shooting. And I think Steph got a little worried. Like, I'm going to have to perform here. Like, it's a rough one. I did see, which I don't know. That what's his name? One of the analysts there. Kenny. Like he got some flack because he said, oh well, maybe she should have shot from the women's line and she would have won. And it's like she didn't want to. Like
yeah. She said she wanted to shoot from the NBA range, and I mean, it's not like she didn't do well.
Yeah, she lost to the greatest shooter the NBA's ever seen by 3. Like,
Yeah,
why would you even say something like that? Like she held her own clearly. So I don't know, that to me was the highlight of the weekend, and then finishing up with the dunk contest, it was boring.
dud.
It was horrible, and I thought Jaylen Brown would have performed a little better, and his was. I think they just gave him scores because he was like a big name in it. Because his
Yeah,
weren't very
absolutely.
impressive
No.
at all. Like, I mean, the kid that won again, jumping over Shaq, clearing Shaq, might I add, no push off, no nothing. It's just that was overused. Like Shaq was out there 3 different times. Like, be original. So
Yeah,
that was a letdown. And then the game. I mean, it was really cool to see Dame and Halliburton on the same team, pretty much light it up. But again, we finished at like 217 to 170. Like
ridiculous.
That's just not fun. So those are my thoughts. I thought it was. I don't want to say boring. I think it's going to be an average one for me. It was an average weekend for me.
Yeah. So I didn't watch the Friday night festivities. We had some stuff we had going on, so I didn't get to tune into those. But the skills competition, we were both wrong on who was going to win that one.
Yep.
So, but Indiana did. They came out and went through it. But props to them for getting it done. But yeah, that's a lot of that stuff seems pretty. It seems simple. It seems like we could go out there and do it. But I'd say getting in a hurry and trying to get it done, you make mistakes, but I still think we could probably do it. I haven't competitively picked up a basketball in 12 years, probably. Yeah. So it's rough. So I can say I could do it, but to actually do it, probably not.
Probably. Not in front of 100,000 people, anyway.
Yeah, definitely not. I'm choking. But yeah, with the dunk contest, it was just like you said with Jaylen. I think they were just giving because I think they were like, oh, we're going to give him better scores, so maybe other
exactly.
Maybe we'll get more stars in here, and so it's just it is almost got to the point where I would completely wipe All-Star Weekend and start with something fresh. Like I would lose the 3-point contest, I would lose the dunk contest, figure something out with the game, more incentives, something to make it competitive. Because even with good defense, no, they should never score 200 points. Like 160, 170, it's understandable, but the 3-point contest, I mean, you called it. You said Dame. I said Cap. So we were right there at the end together. But I mean, it's fun to watch, but at the same time, like I don't know. I'd like to see something different. Maybe switch it up a little bit somehow. I don't know, but it's still probably my favorite event to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
And then game itself, like I didn't watch all of it, and I seen where they were like I think a couple of times where Halliburton would be right there to like get the ball and bring it up the floor, and Giannis would like hustle up the inbound just to throw it to Dame, and like I mean I understand that's your boy, you want to get him MVP, but like Halliburton cooking too, he was on fire. So overall, like it's cool to see him get buckets and to see him just go out there and score, but at the same time, the 220 points is a little ridiculous because you want to see some defense, you want to see some effort. So I would scratch it and start fresh.
Yep, I agree. It's It's rough to watch. Like, just the whole weekend is, and it's too bad because they're the best basketball players in the world. Like,
Yeah.
it could be so much better than what it was.
Yeah.
Um,
One of my favorite things they had was when they did like where you would like team up with somebody, either president or like I remember they did it in the past with like I don't know who it would be, but like you could do like Jason Tatum and Larry Bird, and you'd go out there and like have to shoot from the spots on the
oh,
floor,
yep.
and you have like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
minute or whatever. That would be cool.
Yep.
A king of the court, just do like a one-on-one tournament or
Oh,
something like that, and just
that'd be cool.
something different that would be entertaining to watch.
Yep. I agree. I agree. It's like I said, it's an average event now. I think now the NFL like weekend they have is better than the NBA, and that never used to be.
Yes.
Um, I
Yeah.
mean, overall, I think the NFL knocked it out of the park this year. Um, so I don't know. I'm with you. I think they just scratch it, start fresh, and figure out. And I don't even know what it would be. Like, I don't know if anything would hold the entertainment. Um, it'd be tough. It'd be a tough thing to figure out, but that's why people in the front office get paid that much to figure those things out. So,
That's right.
um, I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. It'd be tough. Although they could go from like go to the video game of like 2K and like see what you have to do. You know, in your My Career, you have to do all these different like training stuff. Like you got to run like 3-on-2 fast breaks and like do that. So I mean, you should be able to figure it out pretty easily. But
Yeah.
who knows? Who knows at all? So I mean, that was the
Yeah.
recap of NBA. Um, it was cool. I mean, it looked like Indiana showed out for it. There was a lot of cool like videos and like hype things for the state of Indiana and Indianapolis. It is a very basketball rich state. Um, so that was cool to see. But as far as the actual events and game, I say we scratch it. So again, an average weekend. And moving on, and actually yesterday was the first MLB spring training game of the Dodgers and the Padres, and then they played again today. So spring training is underway. We are, I think, roughly a month. Excuse me, about a month and a week from opening day. So looks like everyone's there, besides a couple big names that are still not signed. But um, I don't know. I'm ready for it. Again, mostly with spring training, it's the weather here. That just means we're that much closer to good weather. But also, I enjoy baseball. I mean, I know you're not the hugest baseball fan, but I mean, I can sit and watch a baseball game on TV. A lot of people can't, and that's why they're trying to speed it up, which I don't understand. But some of the big things for MLB coming into the spring training is, I mean, you got Shohei Ohtani, of course, with the Dodgers, and then you got also Tyler Glasnow with the Dodgers. You got Teoscar Hernandez with the Dodgers. I mean, the Dodgers seem like they just went out and bought everyone they
Yeah.
could to win a title, which
They're the
that's what
early
you got to do.
2000 Yankees.
Yes, exactly. Which we both hate the Yankees. So,
Yes.
which I'm not a huge fan of the Dodgers. So
Same.
it's going to be the exact same result. I do think MLB needs to create a cap for a salary cap. I don't know how you can now with all these, with Otani getting 600 million and a lot of 300 million guys, but they're going to have to figure something out because, the Dodgers are going to be what teams are going to look for. And
Yeah.
certain teams just aren't going to do that, which is fine. But I don't know how like the competition is going to match up for that. Um, a couple quick things as a Cubs fan. I wrote down a couple things. The biggest thing that they did was they got the Shota Imanaga guy, the pitcher, and I have heard out of a couple bullpens he's thrown that our number one pitcher, Justin Steele, said he is absolutely filthy. So that is a nice, refreshing thing to
Yeah.
hear. I think the Cubs missed a lot of free agent opportunities like they do every year. I mean, one of them, I guess you could consider Shohei because they were in the running, but they really weren't. I think the Dodgers were it, and that was it. I mean, there was nobody really in the running. But they lost out on some other smaller names that really could have helped. And in addition to that, they got to go get and sign Cody Bellinger now because
Have to.
that that is your season, I think. And if they do, I think they go sign him, and they should go sign Matt Chapman as well, and just go for it because that's the two left. There's the two big pitchers, Montgomery and Snell. Um, I'd probably lean towards Montgomery, but um, the Cubs had him at one point, so they're not going to do that. So they got to go get Cody Bellinger to save some face. In other
Yeah.
words, I still think they're going to win the division. I still got high hopes for that. But as far as doing anything in the playoffs, they're not, unless they get some crazy things at the trade deadline. I don't see them going anywhere in the playoffs. But I do have them winning their division, so I'm hoping that comes true.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I know. Just kind of, looking at the Cubs a little bit here and there. Not a, not a big fan like you are, but I am a fan of the Cubs, and they need a couple more pieces, I think, to
Yes.
to make some noise in the playoffs. They're 4 or 5 pieces away from being true contenders, I believe.
Yes.
Maybe not even that many, but maybe 3.
Well, probably that many.
But it'd be good to see him back into contention because you don't want it to be another 100 years.
No.
Be miserable. But I mean, as far as the Red Sox go, we are awful.
Yeah.
Our ownership, our GM, they don't know what they're doing, and it's been a disaster. In which we try to clean house and bring somebody else in, and it doesn't do any good. And Alex Cora is the lone bright spot on this team. And I just don't know how you can get rid of everybody. Like, I mean, we're going to get rid of Betts, Bogarts, Martinez, Sale. Like, let everybody walk out. Schwarber, like,
yep.
And expect to do anything ever. It's ridiculous. And so they were like, "Oh, well, we'll keep the fans happy and sign Devers." Like, oh, thanks for giving us one good piece. Like,
right.
What else are we gonna do? So, even guys like running for to sign, like Tim A that we were looking at, but they didn't want to pay $5 million a year for the guy.
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
There's a pitcher that we just let go instead of re-signing for 1 year, $1.8 million. Too expensive.
Yeah, that makes no sense.
It's a disaster. It's a joke right now. The Boston fans are going crazy. People in Boston are going nuts. But they're not going to stop going to games because Boston. But it's crazy. They're 5+ years away from even thinking about contention. So a whole over the front of this needs to happen. I don't really see it happening anytime soon. So we're just stuck in oblivion. We're terrible. And I'll just enjoy, hopefully, watching the Dodgers lose. And go Cubs, go.
That's right. That's right. I've watched the Red Sox, and I agree. Their GM is atrocious. And if their owner is agreeing with that, or their owning group, or whatever they are now, I don't know what they're doing. Because Boston, Boston has the taste of winning, and they're not gonna just sit back and watch losing season after losing season, even if it's Alex Cora. They're not going to care.
Yeah.
So again, I view it. They're in a full rebuild, and I get it. But you do have to keep some players, and Rafael Devers isn't enough. Like you got to keep some people. So yeah, it's
and
it's here.
They had and they had, this all season they let go of the GM Shane Bloom. They were like, hey, it's time for you to go. They took forever in their search to find a new one. I couldn't even tell you who they signed, but everybody that they interviewed or wanted to interview, they either passed on the job or was like, no thanks, we don't even want to interview with you. Like, because one, ownership for the Sox is not very patient. Like,
no,
you come in, we expect to turn around in 3-4 years, and we want to be or show some signs of improvement. And they brought Bloom in, and he's like, well, that's asking for too much, so we're going to trade him. Bogart's for low balling, and then he's like, pretty much just give you a FU and was like, I'm not coming back. I don't care how much you offer me. They traded Christian Vasquez, let Schwarber go, Andrew Benintendi, Jackie Bradley Jr., all the pieces from the 2018 team 6 years ago were champions and was arguably one of the best teams ever assembled.
Mm-hmm.
And one piece is left. One. And it just pisses me off.
Yeah. I get that pain. They got rid of all but one, I think, from the Cubs winning season. So I know that pain. That's very frustrating. And they're fan favorites, and it just sucks. So I think it is going to be a long year for you, unfortunately. I don't know. Maybe there'll be some bright spots. Maybe a couple minor guys come up and show out and be the next face, but it's going to be a long year, 2, 3 for you, for sure. So with that, as MLB is coming around, we were trying to come up with, do we want to do like a rankings with hats, jerseys? So we decided on logos, and we'll probably do the jerseys maybe around opening day or something like that. But we figured logos would be good just because everybody knows them pretty well. And there's some pretty cool logos that are underrated, I feel. So let me do this here and get this on the screen anyway. Here we go. And there's that. So mine, it was, maybe. There we go. So I went with some, I don't want to say like generic ones, but I don't know. I had to throw my Cubs in there. So with one, for the people not watching, first I went with the Toronto Blue Jays. I think their logo is probably one of the more coolest and more like special logos of the MLB with the Blue Jay, and then we got the Canadian flag. It flows really well. 2, I got the Seattle Mariners, their S logo with the baseball and the Mariner star in the middle. 3, we got the Atlanta Braves, which the A with the tomahawk going through it. I think that's pretty classic. 4, we got the Cubs. Mainly that's probably being a homer, but that's okay. 5, we have the Miami Marlins. I really like their newer logo. I like their older logo too, but their newer logo was really cool with the M and the Marlin coming around. And then my honorable mention is the Los Angeles Angels, the A with the halo on it. I don't know. I think it's pretty classic, pretty iconic, kind of like with the Cubs. But I don't know. That was my picks for the logos anyway.
Yeah, that's a good list. I think we have a pretty similar list with a lot of the same teams.
Mhm.
But just with the Marlins,
Yep.
because I was just thinking about this when you're doing the Marlins. When you look at the Marlins, who's the first player you think of?
So when I first think of the Marlins, it's Dontrell Willis, the pitcher, D-Train.
Same,
100%.
exact same. That dude, when we were growing up, was
Yep.
just nasty, and he had
Yep.
that high leg kick where he punched his knee and his chin every time.
Yep.
And for some reason, I knew you were going to say that.
Yep.
But that's exactly who I was thinking of.
Yeah, that is 100% who I think of for sure. Then we got your list. I was looking at this and I was like, "Oh, this is a pretty good list. I like it."
Yeah, it's like I said, a lot of similarities in
Yep.
there. But just waiting. It must have been slow to pull up for me. Here we go. So I got the Braves #1. It's just the tomahawk is classic. I couldn't go away from it. That's my favorite. Um, I like the Phillies #2. The Liberty Bell with the crack. I think it's just classic. It's
Yep.
clean, but I like the stars on it. It's pretty nice. So uh, #3, I've got the Bluejays, the same one. So I really like the Blue Jays logo a lot. It was those top three were really hard for me to put in order
Okay.
because I really liked all three of those a lot. But #4, we got the Los Angeles Angels, which I do like the halo of the A. It's simple, it's clean, it's classic. I think a lot of Angels in the outfield when I see it though.
Oh yeah.
But it's a good logo and I like it. And #5, I've got the Baltimore Orioles. It's just it's a fun logo.
It is.
It's it's kind of kiddish, little cartoonish, but it's awesome. I love it. I
Yeah, I like it. I like it for sure.
love
Oh. That's for sure. So, and then you obviously got my Cubs in there too. So, I think my boy kind of froze up a little bit. But kind of a little takeover here. The top, I like his top five. I like the addition of Baltimore Orioles. They were a surprising pick for me that he put on there, but I like it. I like it a lot. So I don't know. That was just a little fun game we like to play with the ranking of the logos. It brought a lot of joy just because it's baseball season. I'm ready for it. Spring's coming. So with that, um, I will. Usually I say Ethan with the outro, but I think he might be experiencing a little bit of technical difficulties here. I'm not 100% sure. So I'll go ahead and do the intro just in case. So we appreciate you guys listening here at 23XV Sports Show. Go like and subscribe on YouTube. Follow us on Twitter or listen on the Spotify or Apple Podcasts. We also do have a new Facebook page up. You can just search on Facebook 23XV Sports Show. Also, we do have TikTok as well. Same name, same system of looking it up. So we appreciate you guys listening and peace. We'll see you later.